All right, we're live. We already have people in the audience too. Hello, everybody. You guys are super duper early. Thank you so much for being here. We're not getting started yet. We're super ahead of schedule here, so thank you for joining so early. We'll get started shortly, but I love the eagerness and the energy of being here so early. And I was watching, some of you joined like 15 minutes ago, and I love that for us. So thank you.
Hi, Jessica. Saw your message in the chat. Glad you're here to join us today.
Awesome. I am going to quickly pull all of our social media here and throw it in the chat. But if you guys have Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, please throw them in the chat. I'm going to throw all of ours. I would love it if you guys wanted to connect with us. You can DM us later if you have questions, like just be friends with me on LinkedIn or follow Michelle on Instagram or whatever. But like, it's always nice to like connect, grow your network as a result of these things, especially when it's an audience of people who are in the same fields as you. So yeah, if y'all want to connect with any of us, please be our friends. I promise we're nice. We were just having this debate right before we went live about the superior Disney movie, and Holly feels super, super strongly that it's Lion King 1.5. And I wanted to say Holly, but then we were going live. It is the superior Lion. It is the superior of the Lion King movies. Yes. But Emperor's New Groove beats Lion King 1.5.
Okay, I completely agree with you there. And then there's Ratatouille, which is also fantastic.
But also gives me the ick because I'm like, Rodent's Kitchen.
That's fair. That's fair.
I can't.
Maurice, I'm so much older than you. You wouldn't even know my Disney movies. So I'll just do a pass on that one. I don't want to date myself.
Now you have to share it.
But my daughter, actually, so my daughter's faves, I don't know if that was even backed by, but it's truly Hannah Montana was hands down. We watched that, and Shrek. Those two were Shrek. Every day of my life, we were watching Shrek and Hannah Montana.
Mm-hmm. Shrek is perfect. There's no notes. Shrek is perfect.
It really is. When I got my license, I had a car with a CD player, back when those were still a thing. And I had the Shrek 1 and 2 soundtracks on CD in my car at all times. Constantly, that's what I was playing.
And the adult humor in Shrek.
Oh, so much.
Was fabulous.
Honestly, now that I have a toddler, the adult humor in Bluey, I'm like, this is a show for toddlers, and I'm pleased as punch about this. This is great. I love some grown-up humor mixed in.
Oh, yeah, that's how they get the adults to want to sit and watch the shows with their kids.
Right? I'm here for it. Like, I have no complaints when he wants to watch Bluey.
Oh, yeah.
I just changed the slide here, but I would love to know in the chat, like, you guys are telling us who you are, where you're from. Please, I want to hear from everybody. But like, what do you guys do? What do you do for a living? Why are you joining us? Essentially, obviously, we work at Textile. No surprise there. But like, tell us what you guys do, where you're joining us from, and we'll get started here in just a couple minutes. We still have people trickling in, so we'll give them like 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started. I'm a little surprised nobody's in the chat like giving their own opinion on this Disney movie argument, because to me, this is a big deal.
So excited to see so many of our current clients in here and interacting in the chat as well. So I'm very excited that everyone was able to hop on.
Right? I'm realizing I've been debating dyeing my hair dark, and I should have done it for this webinar because then we could have a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead.
Right? That would have been ideal.
The perfect trifecta for a webinar.
Absolutely.
Real reasons to dye your hair.
Ryan, the next time I'm in Destin, I'm coming to see you again.
Ooh, Ryan's chiming in with Peter Pan, though.
It's a great one. Yeah, Peter Pan is really up there for me, too.
Plus, there are some phenomenal, creepy retellings of that story that I am a big fan of.
Yes.
We're going to give it 1 more minute, you guys, just because we still see people dropping in here. And then we're going to get started, because I know we said we were going to keep this to 45 minutes, and I want to respect your time. So we're going to get started in just a moment. And yeah, thank you so much. I love that everybody's jumping into the chat here, because I know I want to get to know all of you. You took the time to come and listen to us talk. I want to know who you are. This is awesome.
Sarah, I love that. You're here to help new stylists grow. We can help you do that. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Paris.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, it's 2 minutes after the hour. Let's get started here because we have 45 minutes to chat. And I'm sure everybody here is super duper busy and we want to respect your time. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today. Let's dive in and get started. So, the biggest thing we're here to talk about today is how to make more money in the salon, how to make more money in beauty, and how to use text messages to do that. And this is not just going to be some fluffy overview of use Textel. We're here to actually show you guys some real strategies that have actually worked. And so I'm super excited to get started here. I should probably introduce myself because 99% of you probably know my co-hosts, but my name is Becca. I work in customer engagement on the revenue team for our parent company, Capacity. And I run all of our webinars, but then I am joined by the fabulous Michelle and Holly. Michelle, would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So my name is Michelle Steinman. I'm the Senior Account Manager here at Textel by Capacity. I actually come from the beauty industry, and this is going to date myself of about 41 years now. I started behind the chair. I was a salon owner, and then I worked for a very large salon and spa in St. Louis, Missouri as a director of operations. And I just love the beauty industry, but I also fell in love with the tech side of things. So I kind of pivoted. I consult now on the salon side, and now I'm in this tech space and loving every moment of it, helping all of you grow your businesses. So I certainly couldn't do that without my colleagues, Becca and Holly. Holly's my wing woman. She'll always be your first point of contact with us. And then I take over after about a year, although I do have some of y'all customers I'm taking care of currently as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Holly. Like I said, she's my wing woman, and she's my partner in crime here at Textel. So Holly, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Holly Hagopian. I am the account executive for beauty here at Textel by Capacity. And like Michelle said, I am your first point of contact when you come in to engage with us. But I have been with our parent company, Capacity, for about 5 years now, but selling Textel for about 3. And I absolutely love the beauty industry. I love the energy it brings. And so I'm excited to really do a deep dive here and show you all how you can get the most utilization out of your existing tools and really drive more ROI for your business through Textel.
Love it. Let's jump in here, guys. Quick overview of the game plan because we've already got people in the chat asking for it. So what are we talking about today? One, I'm going to do like 30 seconds on why what we're talking about today is relevant to the beauty industry specifically. Michelle is going to go through SMS 101 compliance, the basics, basically. We're going to go through that quickly. I know a lot of you are already using these tools, though. So let's talk about the big opportunities, the actual ways to make more money, ways to build your target audience, ways to fill those blank spots in your schedule, which I saw 3 people ask for already. Absolutely. We have a whole section devoted to filling those blank spots in your schedule because that's where we make money at the end of the day. And then finally, using these strategies also for recruitment to add manpower to your salon, to your business. Let's get started. First things first, I got to ask a question. Who here is already using some form of Textel product? Maybe you're using Blast. Maybe you're using the two-way texting. You're using both, or you're using none of it. I just want a little bit of a baseline to know how in depth we should get on certain things. So a little bit of feedback would be super duper fabulous. We'll give you guys a few seconds to vote on that. It should be up on your screen, but I'm going to go to the next couple of slides while you have a second to vote. Let's talk for 30 seconds about why you should care. Why is this even helpful for you? Well, as somebody who comes from demand generation as a professionally, that's literally all I've done with my career. There's been some pretty significant changes to marketing in general. Social media reach is the most inconsistent it's ever been. Email open rates are going down. Algorithms control visibility, meaning maybe your clients all follow you on Instagram, but Meta's choosing whether or not they even see your posts. They might be seeing a whole bunch. I'm sure we all see it when we open Instagram. We see all this random stuff from people we don't even follow. But like, I barely see things from some of the people I actually do follow who are posting, and I just don't see it because the algorithm isn't showing it to me. And that's affecting visibility for our posting. And not just our clients, but I think literally all of us get a little bit overwhelmed by all the noise, the ads, the incoming messages. It never stops. I have 8 unread messages and we've only been talking for 6 minutes. Like, it doesn't stop. So things have changed a lot in terms of reaching our customers. And I'm just going to quickly stop the poll here. 37% of you are already using Blast by Textile. 37% are using the two-way texting. That's wildly even. And the rest of you are using both. Amazing. I love that. That's actually super duper helpful as we go through things today. But continuing on, these are 2 stats that kind of hurt my brain a little bit, but they're completely real stats here. The average email campaign gets a 20% open rate. So 1 in 5 people you send an email to is actually going to open it. Meanwhile, 98% of text messages get read. That's such a big swing. If I'm going to pour my time, my energy into creating messaging to send to my clients, I want people to actually read it. I'm not just throwing a bottle into the ocean here. So it's wild to know that 98% of people who get my texts are going to open them. My emails, not so much. So what are we going to do about that? Well, this is my last poll, I swear. But I need a little moment of honesty with everybody here. Who's checked their phones? We've been going for 7 minutes. Who has checked their phones already? I sure have. I'm not kidding. I have 8 messages. I can see them. My phone's open on my desk. But we all do it. We all have our phones on them 24/7. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to the washroom without taking my cell phone. I take my cell phone in the shower. I need music. I need to have a little dance party. We all have our phones on us literally 24/7. And about 50% of you in the poll are saying you've checked your phone already. And I think the other 50% are kind of lying to me, but that's okay. We're all checking our phones all the time. That's who we are. And our customers are the exact same, because most text messages, and this is like a global stat, guys, most texts are read within 90 seconds. So to send something out and know that 98% of your customers are going to open it within a minute and a half, we're going to be talking about filling those empty slots in your guys' schedules, but like 90 seconds for almost every single one of your clients to open a message. That's everything. That can mean filling last minute cancellations, promoting limited availability slots, driving sales. Oh my gosh, retail, promotions, all that other stuff, birthday offers, launching new services, VIP exclusivity, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about treating our VIPs. Rebooking rates, recruiting, all the stuff that the girls are going to go into because they are the real experts on all things beauty. But the rates don't lie. It's just such an impactful move. So with that being said, Michelle's going to dive into permission, compliance, the non-negotiables, and getting started.
Thank you so much, Becca. It's so great to see some of our clients here on this webinar with us today. So I am going to dive right in. I know this is the not so fun part of this webinar, but these are definitely things you need to know. So again, diving right into permission and compliance. So please don't let the word compliance distract you. It's really meant to protect all of us from the SMS spammers of the world. So if you follow best practices, like we're sharing with you today, texting really becomes extremely safe and extremely profitable for everyone. So keep in mind, the rules vary by region. So please make sure you understand the federal guidelines and your state laws. You can also visit support@textile.net and navigate to our compliance and 10 DLC links for more in-depth information. So let's talk about some requirements before we get started with text marketing. So before you get started with Textile, many of you have already gone through this process, which are 2 steps. And these are the prerequisites. Number 1, you'll have to have a very conspicuous privacy policy on your website. Basically, it will say that you do share information with Textile, which is a third-party provider, but we as Textile don't share any of that information. All we do is submit your SMS on your behalf. So it's also important in some states to have a terms and conditions on your website as well available. So if you're not sure how to write a privacy policy, there's plenty of AI tools out there that are available, but we do also recommend that you check with your legal advice as well. So the number 2 is you must register with our carriers. That is also a third-party registration. It's a simple form fill. It takes about 5 to 14 business days for us to then get that information back from our carrier. And then at that time, we can actually provision your line for use. So once your line's approved, you're off to the races. Your line is provisioned by Textel, and then you're ready to begin texting. But there is also some more compliance that you need to consider as well. So number one, permission is mandatory for SMS marketing. So what does that mean? Basically, it means you must be able to prove that your customers have opted in. So how does that happen? Either you can manage your opt-ins through your POS, whichever system you're using, or other methods. Textel can also manage for you, and we do recommend that you use multiple methods of opt-ins. So let's talk about the Manage by You method. That can be digital intake forms. I know we partner with Mevo, SalonBiz, Inspired by STX, and we're also a standalone platform. So anyone with any platform can use us, but they may have digital intake forms. You can also use written intake forms if you'd like. And then there's also ways that can be managed by Textel. And Holly will go into that a little bit more later as well. But I will tell you, Textel uses our keywords and QR code feature. And then for compliance purposes, keywords are programmed into Textel for your opt-ins and opt-outs upon delivery of your platform. Now, just remember, if you were a subscriber for us prior to, I believe, 2025, your stop, help, and unstop were part of your platform, but some of the other keywords which are now mandatory are not. So if you're not seeing keywords in your platform at all, definitely give us a call our support team, or you can reach out to support@textel.net, and our team can help you through that. Also, here's a pro tip. If your customer notifies you on any other communication platform that they want to opt out, don't forget you do have to remove them from Textel. However, if they just text the keyword stop, we'll automatically process that because that is an automated process. Now, let's talk about a few regulatory flags. So you do want to consider how to manage your messaging so they don't get blocked by the carriers. So keep in mind, you just have to play by the rules. And the rules are really fairly simple. But here's a couple things. In the beauty industry, there's federal regulations such as the TCPA laws and the shaft regulations. And, there's all these fancy words, but basically those regulations also prevent you from including content related to CBD, THC, and alcohol. So SHAF stands for sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, or tobacco. CBD and THC fall into those categories. So even if you're planning our wonderful sip and shops that we do during holidays, which are so fun, you just have to be careful. Be mindful of your content. Don't mention anything about alcohol, and be careful about what types of images you're also putting in your blast. So carrier blocks do count against your SMS scoring with carriers, so you do have to be careful of that. Secondly, I want one last reminder to tell you that carriers have a 3% opt-out rule. In the opt-out rule, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, they use algorithms that monitor your SMS usage. So if your opt-outs exceed 3% on a consistent basis, it is possible that your line could get flagged by carriers. So exceeding 3% means that you're likely, number one, carriers probably know that you haven't asked in the first place. 2, you might be sending too many texts. 3, sending irrelevant information. And 4, you could be sending misaligned information. So again, those high opt-out rates will affect your carrier score. So your SMS reputation is such an important key to your SMS marketing in your future. So please keep that top of mind. So let's talk about the SMS, how SMS is your best communication tool. So keep in mind, you don't want to make mistakes when it comes to SMS. It's your most valuable and intimate channel to reach out to your customers. Remember, it's the same channel that you use to communicate with family, friends, besties. And guess what? Your customers are also getting information from other businesses as well. So if you mess up here, you don't just use a click or lose a click, you could actually lose a customer. So first and foremost, don't purchase lists and send campaigns. Definitely, that's the biggest no-no. I wouldn't send to your entire database that you've been curating for 20 years. Those clients who no longer live in the state or visit your establishment, I wouldn't waste your valuable money on soliciting information to those clients because they probably don't want to get your information anyway. Choose your top paying customers. Those are your top tier customers who are spending the most money with your business. Also, don't forget your opt-out with every single campaign. That's very important, and carriers have algorithms around that as well. And finally, don't forget to include your business brand name and your branded images with your campaign. We have a lot of clients that forget to either put a branded image or mention their salon, and their customers have no idea where to spend that offer. So always remember to do that. So here's another pro tip. If your message doesn't provide immediate value, a code, a critical update, or a call to action, or as a relationship or culture message like gratitude, it shouldn't be an SMS. Save that fluff for a newsletter or potentially your socials. So your texting should feel simple without but without a text strategy, campaigns just won't really get you any ROI that you expected. Your goal isn't really just to send text to your entire database and then pray that it works. Your goal is to really build a permission-based VIP list to clients who truly want to hear from you. In order to do that, you must have a strategy and a plan. So treat this SMS launch just like you would any other product, service, or promotional launch. Reaching out to your top tier customers, like I said previously, is really key. Your customers want to know why they should opt in and what to expect. So you have to sell the sizzle on all of your promotional channels. And Holly will go into that in more detail in a bit shortly. Also, don't forget to sprinkle the love and appreciation to your guests as well. Those reminders go a long way, building relationships with your guests. You don't always want to just have your hand out and say, hey, come buy from me. You want to show gratitude and appreciation. Then use that to grow your revenue. So here's some do's. You know that old saying, timing is everything? Well, it's the same here. Be mindful and respectful of your customers' time. Do send messages between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. You do want to skip Sundays. Federal laws regulate when you can send your blast. And guess what? So does Textel. Here's another pro tip. Carrier traffic increases during peak times, like national holidays. So program your blasts and consider the SMS traffic to make sure your blast delivers on time. 10,000 plus blasts can take a very long time to deliver during peak holidays. So if you want to remind your customers, hey, only 2 hours left to buy that special last minute gift card deal, it may not always make it to all of your customers. Additionally, managing customer expectations is also key. Customers will opt in if you entice and excite them with the information. They also want to know the frequency and what's in it for them. So usually these 3 hot taglines will work. Text-only deals, first to know, and early bird access. As a consumer, I would imagine that you've opted into many SMS marketing because the deal was too good to pass up, right? So enough with compliance. Let's now dive into the launch plan. This is the fun part. So the launch plan is a 3-phase plan. Phase 1 is the strategy and the pre-launch. Super important. Again, this is marketing that Holly will dive deeper into very shortly. So strategy and pre-launch marketing is key to your future success. Phase 2 is the permission blast, and phase 3 is the ongoing opt-in marketing. So here's what you want to do with phase 1. It is, like I said, the most important part of your strategy. What you do now, remember, will affect your opt-in success in the future. You know, they always say, what you do now, your business is going to show those results in about 3 months. So create some momentum, just like you do when launching products and services. SMS is a bonus for your customers to better serve them. So tell your story and let them know. Tell them you have a new VIP text club or insiders club. Brand it the way you'd like it. Tell them it's coming soon on all those communication channels, socials, on-hold greeting, voicemail, website, in-store signage. Again, Holly will review this more shortly. So I recommend that you do this no less than 30 days prior to sending your permission blast, which is phase 2. So there's many ways to gain your customers' permission prior to sending a text blast. As I shared with you previously, federal laws mandate customer opt-ins, and we strongly recommend that you follow these best practices. So there's many ways to gain their permission prior to sending that blast. Verbal opt-ins are not compliant. So just because a client tells you on the phone, oh yes, opt me in for marketing, remember, you don't have any way to prove that. So you want to go for something much deeper than a verbal opt-in. So how do you ask for permission? Again, there's many ways, and using more than one is optimal. For example, digital opt-in forms through your POS or on your website. You can have a pop-up on your website. It's a form, client opts in, said and done. You could do written paper forms. It's a little outdated, but guess what? It works, and it's a way to get started. Keyword opt-ins through Textel. Again, Holly's going to talk more about that and all the different ways to use keywords, QR codes, and then, of course, the SMS permission invite. So clients will frequently ask us, can they send a text for an opt-in first? Absolutely, you can. But do your pre-work and pre-marketing before you do that. Remember, entice and sell the sizzle. So sending an opt-in, remember, you can do it once. You can't keep asking those customers because they haven't given you permission yet. So always continue the process and send an opt-in invitation to all new guests from the previous month on the first of the following month. Excuse me. If you do this consistently, you'll see your opt-ins continuously rise. Here's another pro tip. When programming your keyword opt-in auto reply, include a one-time discount offer on their next retail purchase or an add-on to a complimentary service. This really shows your gratitude and appreciation. Is on a special deal, literally right out of the gate. So this offer is on the auto reply only, not in the permission blast invite. So again, it's for the auto reply, not on the permission blast. You cannot do any type of solicitation when you're sending out your commission blast, or your permission blast, not your commission blast. So let's talk about some required disclosures. So when you create your keyword opt-in auto replies, they can all be programmed by you, but they must clearly state a few disclosures, such as message and data rates may apply, frequency may vary, text help for support, and stop to opt out. And in some states, you have to link to your terms and conditions. Like I said, it's mandatory in some states. Now, phase 3 is your ongoing opt-in marketing. You might want to get your camera out, take a picture or a screenshot of this list of ideas, or again, you can watch it because we will send you this webinar. It is recorded. I know several of you have asked that in the chat, but opt-in marketing will never have an end date. Keep your opt-in marketing present on all communication channels. Send a permission blast monthly to all new customers from the previous month. Make sure your taglines include text-only deals and create promotions that are truly text-only deals. Make sure they're not showing up on any other communication channel. Make sure you're a person of your word. You don't want it on your website. You don't want it anywhere else. Those promotions should be kept to text-only deals. Now, sure, you can send promotions that are on your other channels as well, but make sure maybe once monthly, you do show your clients that you are providing text-only deals. So we also highly recommend marketing your text marketing program as a VIP text club or an insiders club. Customers will be much more inclined to opt in if they understand they'll only receive these promotions via text. So keep your opt-in strategy top of mind, grow your list, and then use it to deploy one or all of the proven strategies in this slide. Again, Holly will dive deeper just a little bit shortly. So once someone gives you access to their phone, again, and you must earn that access with every single message that you send, all customers want deals, but don't forget to sprinkle in the love again and appreciation. Those reminders will truly, truly move the dial and go a long way when building those relationships with your guests and for your customer appreciation, holiday wishes, birthday offers, and more. I know I've said this twice, but it's really important to do that again, and then you'll grow your revenue exponentially as well. So I'd like to welcome Holly and let Holly take it from here.
Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you setting the groundwork there for what we're going to need to do to get started. Now I want to take some time to discuss building your target lists and how you can actually sell to your customers without really selling to your customers. So overall, there are two basic types of lists that you will need to get started with text marketing. The first one is your general list, and the second one is your targeted lists. So these two list types will enable you to reach out and promote your business to your guests without really selling to them. So we're going to get a little bit deeper on that. So your general list is going to be essentially all of your opted-in clients. This is the list you're going to use when you're sending information on any new promotions, events, flash sale, gift cart sales, or, to promote your new and existing service providers, and, for general announcements like if you're going to be closed for inclement weather. The second types of lists are your targeted lists. So this is where you're going to send blasts that are specific to your guests' interests. You're going to have more than one target list, which actually allows you to get granular and better customize your outreach to your guests and their interests. So let's be real here, the spray and pray method, it's not as effective if you're not validating your list to begin with. And, there's nothing worse than receiving a marketing text that's not relevant to you, or on the business side, if you're sending it, nothing worse than paying to text a client who, for lack of a better term, doesn't really care about that offer. That's why taking a targeted approach to your text marketing is very, very important here. So as Michelle had mentioned earlier, we highly recommend starting with your top VIP customers, right? So these are your guests who spend the most with you and are your biggest advocates. They are what we like to call your low-hanging fruit, and it's much easier to get those guests to convert and spend more with your business, and it's 100% the easiest place to start. From there, you can actually separate your clients into lists based off of service type, provider, product interest, birthday, etc., and send them blasts that are specific to their interest, which will not only reduce your opt-out rate, but it'll also lead to more ROI, and you'll waste less money in segments by not texting clients who, like I said, don't really care about that particular offer. So as important as it is to create your list, it's just as important to keep them growing. And this is why we highly recommend that you market your text marketing as a VIP text club and market that as you would with any other product or service and make it feel very exclusive. So, announce the launch of that program on your website, your social media, in-house, on your on-hold or voicemail greeting, or via email marketing, and keep that marketing going. Train your staff to ask guests to opt in at check-in and check-out. Add your join or start QR code keyword to signage in-house. Throw it on your business cards. Mention it in your voicemail, like I said. Add a pop-up to your website, etc. Because at the end of the day, visibility and consistency are everything here. And the more your guests see it, the more opt-ins you'll get. So, talking about some keywords and using them past the initial opt-in. So you can use keywords for many, many different things across your business, aside from just gaining your opt-ins and opt-outs. You can use keywords for filling last-minute appointments, getting registrants for any events that you might hold, kind of like we did with our webinar today, and for sorting your guests into specific lists without the manual lift on your end. And keywords, they do come completely unlimited within your platform. So let's first talk about the best place to post your keywords and QR codes to A, increase your opt-in rate, and B, have your guests build your target list for you without them even knowing they're doing it, just by sending a quick text. So as I had mentioned earlier, it's very, very important that you market your VIP text club like you would with any other product or service. So, and I'm repeating myself here, but posting those keywords and QR codes everywhere, in-house at the front desk, at stations or on treatment rooms, in your seating areas, near your retail products, on your website, etc. Let your guests know about the program while they wait. Make it seem like an exclusive club and offer promos via text that you're not offering anywhere else. The more they see it, the more exclusive it seems, the more FOMO you'll build, and the more opt-ins you'll gain. So it also doesn't have to be just your join QR code or keyword, right? You can create keywords and QR codes for many different things across your business that will not only opt your guests into your text marketing program as a whole, but also automatically add them to a specific list upon action, which allows you to easily retarget them later. So for example here, we all have those clients that are super loyal to a specific product line. Personally, I'm a Kevin Murphy and or Bay girl myself. So what I recommend here is that you create a keyword and QR code for each product line that you carry and put that next to that specific retail shelf, right? So that way, when your guest scans the QR code or texts in that specific keyword, they're automatically sorted into a list for that specific product line. And then you can send them information on new product launches or restocking. And this also allows you to retarget your customers without having to rebuild your lists. This is also a really, really great way to sell to your guests without really selling to them, right? Because at the end of the day, we all know they're going to go and buy those products anyway. So why not be the first one to let them know so you can be the one to get that sale rather than letting it go to a big corporation like Amazon, for example. Now, one of the most lucrative ways you can use Blast is to fill gaps on your schedule and those pesky last-minute cancellation openings that leave your providers without any money in their pockets. So one thing I highly, highly recommend here is that you set up a keyword for each one of your providers. I do recommend using their first name as the keyword, and have each provider download their QR code, print it out, put it on a sign at their station or in their treatment room. That way, when their regulars come in and scan that QR code or text in that provider-specific keyword to your Blast line, they will not only be automatically opted into your text marketing program across the entire business, but also automatically sorted into a list for their specific provider. This then gives you the ability to very quickly send a text to just that provider's guests to inform them about any appointment openings, to get butts in seats and more money in pockets. It's also a really great avenue to inform your guests about needing to reschedule all appointments that day should the provider have an emergency where they cannot come into work, or if they need to come into go on parental leave. So you could send a blast that says, hey, we apologize for the inconvenience. Courtney called in sick today. We will be reaching out to you shortly to reschedule your appointment. Just as a quick example there. But now I'm going to pass it right on back to Michelle, and she's going to discuss how you can use Blast to recruit new talent to your business.
Thanks, Holly. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for sharing all that great information. So I'm really excited to present this recruitment drip campaigns and nurture sequences. I know right now, after talking to many of you personally, everyone is on a mission to hire. They're short staffed. They're looking to, so the competition is extreme from salon to gain those new potential recruits and employees. You're all are going to cosmetology schools, et cetera. So SMS is the perfect tool to reach your next employee prospect. So again, recruiting in a cosmetology school is all about selling a career path and not just a job. So your next recruit isn't going to come to work for you necessarily for just a paycheck. They want to know they can come to be their best version of themselves by working for you. So it's a huge commitment for them, and it's scary for them. So it starts by telling your story beyond the cosmetology school visit or recruitment event. So since these students are likely overwhelmed with options after the event, just as you are, keep your salon in their pocket with SMS drip campaigns, which are nurture sequences. We recommend keeping the messages high energy, visual, and personalized using our dynamic fields. And remember, use real images of your salon and your salon team. So here are a brief example of a 4-message nurture campaign designed to convert students into interviewees, and a list of pro tips. So nurture sequences can be built in a single campaign in Textel, and it contains 2 or more messages. So you decide on the cadence and when you want it to be sent. So the first message is a great to meet you message. I would recommend following up between 24 to 48 hours after the event, and then begin your sequencing campaign. So remember, every message stays right there on their phone. How many of you have gone back to SMS threads and reviewed information? And guess what? They will too. So message 2, what's more important than your culture? Show them your culture drop by adding a link to an Instagram reel, or share your behind the scenes culture. Interview current employees, give a salon tour, show your team building experiences, educational events, and your team having fun at work. We all like to have fun. I know back in my day, 40 years ago, I chose the salon to work at because I knew several of my friends were there and they were having fun. They were really enjoying. And as a young person, that meant a lot to me. That became, my work crew. They were my besties. And I had some of the times of my life in my work back in the day. So the other thing, text number 3, you want your team to love to come to work, right? Consider mentioning the perks that create a culture of career and life balance on this and your message. For instance, mention flexible scheduling, 4-day work weeks, wellness perks, etc. in this day and age, all the younger folks, they really look for that. They probably balance life more than we do, or than what I do. But that's what they're looking for. So make sure you share your vision, share your culture, etc. And last but not least, now that you've garnered their attention and interest through these sequences, is the grand finale. It's an invite for a shadow visit, discovery call, or even an interview. So create as many messages in a sequence as you'd like. In fact, creating sequencing for students that graduate in 6 months or next year, or create different sequences for stylists, estheticians, massage therapists, and nail techs. It's up to you. However you'd like to create these campaigns, really you're in the driver's seat to make it work exactly the way you want it to. So on this next slide, you might want to get your phones out. Make sure first and foremost that you tell your authentic story. But here's some other tips and tricks and things that we wanted to share with you for different ideas for recruitment drip campaigns. So again, you'll get access to the recording of this webinar too, but your phone will be in your pocket. So you'll have this all the time. So I'll stay here for just a brief moment. And then I'm going to actually skip the next slide and go to the next slide. And we're going to talk about the most impactful textile features. So our goal today truly was to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck by utilizing all the features in textile, especially if you're a Textile Blast subscriber. Here's a quick review of our list of features. And we have a few new subscription options. So again, you might want to take your phone out, take a picture of this. But at the top of our list, keep in mind that textile is POS agnostic. We love working with our partners, but if you move away from one of our partners, we can still serve you as well. So many of our customers move from POS providers from time to time. We see lots of movement there, but we really are partnering deeply with our partners to have deeper integrations as well. Excuse me. Also, we offer both annual and monthly plans, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. When you use both Blast and conversational texting, we do have bundled rates and offer savings. So if you're not experiencing bundled rates, some things change in between, depending on which partner you work with us, but you can ask Holly or I for information. Keyword automation is an often missed favorite of mine and can be used for more than just opt-ins and opt-out features, as Holly explained today. They're highly effective for building targeted lists. And we didn't mention how you can also use it for your internal team too. So our platforms can not just be used for your external customer, which is your guest, but they also offer great tools for communicating with your team as well. You can send images, receive images, etc. We offer custom link shorteners. And if you haven't set that up already, please join my micro learning. If you're attending this webinar live, you'll be invited to that in just a few minutes here. We also offer campaign cloning year over year for easy campaigns, dynamic fields, personalizing your messaging, drip campaigns, etc. that we just reviewed. We have reports and analytics, delivery rates, opt-in, opt-out rates, click links, etc. Auto replies for outside business hours and holidays, and of course, unlimited contacts and contact list organization. So the next thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is our new subscription offers. So we have a brand new subscription offer that gives our annual customers, allows you to pay on a monthly basis for message buckets if you're on a plan of 120,000 annual message segments or higher. So if you sign a 1-year contract with us, it's just to make sure you're with us for a year to pay for all those messages, because we front load all those messages in your platform. Instead of paying for an annual message bucket up front, which is how you used to have to do it, we will allow you to pay in 12 equal monthly installments and reap the flexibility and benefits of an annual plan. Again, you can ask Holly and I for details, and we'd be glad to assist you. Secondly, our pro plans are always a better deal. When you bundle conversational texting, excuse me, and Blast, you do get built-in savings. So speaking of savings and usage rates, our platform subscriptions come with bundled messages. And when you exceed those rates, Textile does bill you at 3 cents per message segment, either in arrears after that month or after that annual year. Now, we do try to notify you, but there are notifications in platform. You can view usage rates, etc. And as a courtesy reminder, I just wanted to show you where those areas are, because it is your responsibility as a subscriber to monitor your usage. So first and foremost, you can go to your manage account page. The best way to manage your usage is on this page. This is where you can see your usage in real time, navigate to your user profile in the upper right of the navigation rail, left click, and click on your manage account page. Once you click on that manage account page, you're going to see your message usage details, how many days you have left in your plan, whether you're on an annual or monthly plan, how many messages you've used, and you'll see it'll turn red if you've used and exceeded your message rate. And then it'll also show you your actual subscription. The next way that we let you know is we do have automated notifications. So when you're scheduling your blast, at the bottom of the schedule or in step 2 of your blast campaign, it will let you know that you're potentially exceeding your usage. And what does it say? I know it's pretty small there at the bottom, but it says this campaign will cause your account to exceed your message plan. Messages will be sent, but you may be subject to overages charges. To view more details, go to your manage account page. So we will never stop you from sending your message, but we do notify you that you will be exceeding your subscription in your campaign rate. Thirdly, we also have a check usage button in the blast that you can click that button and check your usage rate before you ever schedule your campaign. And then finally, we have the check your usage, check your Textile usage on the at a glance page. So in the upper left-hand navigation rail, there is an icon that looks like a little text button. If you click there, then you'll go to your at a glance page. That's where you'll see your messaging, and there's a drop down. You can see it in 7-day, rolling 30 days, or last month. So that wraps up where you can see all of your usage, and that wraps it up for me. But I'd love to invite those of you who did not receive a text message from us when you opted in to attend this event. We sent out SMS campaigns, and we also sent out email campaigns. But if you'd like to opt into the Textile VIP Club and find out about all of our upcoming beauty education and new launches from Textile by Capacity, grab your phone, scan this QR code, and you'll be the first to know about our upcoming beauty education. So I'll leave it on that page for just a moment for those of you who want to scan the code and let you opt in. We really appreciate your time attending with us today. And I'm going to go to my next slide. We have so much to share with you on the horizon, so please stay tuned. On a side note, our parent company Capacity, which acquired Textile in 2023, so 3 years ago now, we've acquired 18 companies worldwide. So now we are a global company serving the beauty industry. And I am so excited with what the future holds for the beauty industry with Capacity. We will be your one-stop intelligent front door shopping. So stay tuned for that. I hope you scan the QR code. So I wanted to also let you know, I hope that you've enjoyed what you've learned today, and to show our gratitude and my personal appreciation. Those of you who have attended live on this class, now if you've just not attended but get the live recording, unfortunately you don't get the invite, but those who attended live will receive a special bonus and an invite for my micro education series. This is a free series. There will be 30-minute hands-on learning sessions. We'll dive deep into many micro topics. So bring your laptop, which you'll have to do anyway, but you'll work alongside of me. And I do hope you'll join me on those. So thank you so much for your time today. And Becca, it is now back to you.
Becca, it looks like you might be muted here.
Of course I am. There's a poll up right now, y'all. If you would like to receive the invite to attend the micro learning sessions with Michelle, some one-on-one, some hands-on walkthrough, super duper helpful. The poll's up. Just hit yes so that I know you want it, so that I only send it to the right people. So let me know, and I will be sending you an email detailing everything in Michelle. Michelle will be emailing you. She's going to be offering a couple of different sessions, and we'll be reaching out to you. So I'll keep that open for just a minute. We've got a different QR code open here, but if we've been talking about any features today and you're like, I don't have that in my subscription, but I need that in my subscription, or how do I get that in my subscription? This QR code will get you there. This will connect you with our lovely ladies and the team. So if you need to add something to your subscription that you have seen today that you don't know how to access or don't have, scan this QR code. I'll give you about 2 seconds here, and then I'm going to the next thing. So we got things to do here, y'all. Leaving the invite for Michelle's session open for just one more minute if you would like to be added into that as well. Let's wrap things up. And then I have 4 amazing audience questions that I want to answer live for you guys. We are officially 1 minute past the 45-minute mark, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to be recording the Q&A. So if you have to bounce, we're going to send you out this recording in the next couple of hours here, but we're going to answer those few questions live momentarily. So as a recap, SMS, it's not just a marketing tool. Fill those cancellations, push those flash sales, build that loyalty VIP, and overall just utilize the highest rated communication channel. And without further ado, we're going to answer a few questions live. I am so pumped about some of the questions that we got today. But first question I'm going to send to Holly. How often should we be sending texts to our people in order to not overwhelm them?
Great question. So think about, when it comes to this, one thing I like to recommend is think about how often would be too much for you on a receiving end, right? So I say, do 1, maybe 2 a week, but I like to keep it to 1 a week. That way you're not going with your usage, you're not using too much, and you're not overwhelming your guests there. So if you were receiving more than 1 marketing text per week from a brand that you know and love, although you know and love that brand, you're going to get annoyed. So I just recommend thinking about how you would feel and then kind of going off of that. So I like to say 1 to 2 a week.
Love that. Totally agree. Thank you for that question, Scarlett. Next, Carrie asked, if clients have already opted out of texting and then they see your promos, they want back in. Michelle and Holly did already say in the chat that they could text back in the chat and say unstop to re-opt in. But what happens if they opted out 2 years ago, they've got a new phone number, it's long gone, or they've got it's lost in the messages? How can we opt in somebody who wants to be re-added in, but opted out so long ago they can't find the thread?
Great question. You can always send them that initial invite text like Michelle had mentioned earlier in the webinar. Or you can always say, hey, if you want to opt in, this is our blast line. Text this keyword join to your blast line number or scan the QR code. It'll automatically populate a text in your message that you just have to hit send on, and then you'll be opted right on back in.
Awesome. So they just rejoin like anybody who's new would join. If they've opted out, it'll opt them back in. I love that. Thank you so much for that question, Carrie. Next, I've got a question for Michelle. Her top guests are already opted into texting. Where can she find, or who should she find to try and target to add in as a broader audience in addition to her VIPs?
So I recommend looking at the last 2 years, your database, and the customers who have visited your salon in the last 2 years. If you can pull up a report, again, many of our partners have all sorts of reporting tools that provide you the revenue and spend that your client is sending it with you. So basically you want to vet your clients, the top spending customers, your VIPs, you already have that list. But what's that next tier below that? If you pull a list long enough, you'll see where that second tier starts to break off then into the third tier, and you'll figure out which clients those are. But again, it's the clients who are spending the most money with you already. The folks that you don't want to target are clients who haven't visited you in the last couple of years. Those are either long gone, they may not be your customers, they may have opted out, they may have never opted in, but also it's based on your budget. So if you are only budgeted for sending 12,000 segments a year or 60,000 segments a year, you can figure out how many customers you want to send to first off, how often you want to send to them. And we have a calculator that will help you do that. Holly and I can support you with this, but I would look at clients who are spending money with you, look at that breakdown, and then also figure out your budget and see where those two land.
I love that. That's such a good answer. I love just data-driven decision-making. Last question, and this one's just fun. So I would love to hear from both of you. I want to hear from Holly first, then Michelle. So when we're sending these texts, we cannot talk about booze. Can we get creative? What are some workarounds? Adrian's like, can we say bubbles and Botox? Or share some workarounds or some fun ideas or some things that have worked in the past. I want to hear.
That's a great question. It is kind of tough to figure out what is that workaround. So I'm actually going to divert to Michelle here on the bubbles and Botox because I'm actually not quite certain and I don't want to, steer you in a wrong direction here. But you can always just get super creative with it and think about different ways to, mention the booze without mentioning the booze. So I'm going to let Michelle kind of take over here and give some insight there.
So is this one of those, how do you mention the booze without mentioning the booze?
Totally. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So let me back up by saying, carrier regulations are changing all the time. And because I'm not the keeper of the carrier regulations, basically what I'll say is, yes, there are ways around it. Bubbles and Botox alludes to alcohol. So I would just say, be very careful. Now, I have seen things like that work for sure. There are workarounds. And here's what'll happen sometimes is if you're sending to a very small, fragmented, targeted list of a couple of thousand customers, it will probably work. If you're sending to 10,000, you could find that half of the messages go out and then they start getting blocked. So the larger your list, the more algorithms go into play and the more the carriers start looking at your list. They don't worry so much about the smaller list. That doesn't mean that you can send anything about alcohol, CBD, or THC, but there are workarounds. Do I have an exact idea for you? I don't, but I know we'd be happy to reach out to our support team because our support team manages a lot of those carrier blocks all the time. So if you're really curious, I would say reach out to our support team, ask that very specific question, or run it by them and say, hey, do you think this will work? And they'll give your honest opinion. Now, again, we are not the keeper. We have great communication and a great relationship with our carriers, but you do just have to be really careful. We see it all the time. We sip in shops all the time.
Well, I mean, heck, I want to go to Bubbles and Botox. That sounds awesome.
Right?
Sign me up. Wherever you are. But those were great questions. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to those of you watching this recording later. Sulan, that's a cute option. Just celebrate with us. I love that. That's so cute. But you guys, thank you so much for coming today. If you have any questions, please respond to my email when I send you an email later today with this recording. And thank you so much for watching. Don't hesitate to reach out and have a lovely day, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.